Okay guys, so you should have a series of drawings that you've done throughout the lessons, some in pencil, some in ink and wash, and I know you've done some in charcoal as well, so you need to just pick the best one, okay, of your 3 or 4 designs. You're going to have a bag of clay like this. You need to make sure you roll your sleeves up so you don't get clay all over your sleeves. Okay, if you've got jewellery or a watch, maybe take that off as well. Okay, open the bag up. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to split your clay, because you're going to need some to do the hair and some of the facial features, and you'll need some to create some slip as well, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. So I'm just going to put a little chunk to the side there, and then I'm going to knead this in my hands into a ball first off. Okay, you might want to use the table just to get it nicely into a ball shape. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit of working to do, but if you get your shape correct at the beginning, it'll make it a lot easier for you throughout the lesson. Okay, so ball shape, flatten it a little bit with your hands. Okay, now depending on the shape of your face, you need to make sure that you're moulding it into that kind of shape. So with mine's kind of like a spoon shape. So I'm going to just squeeze that in. So it's more rounded at the top and pointy towards the bottom. Okay, just move that away. Squeeze that down a little bit more. Okay, if it's easier for you to stand up and do this, by all means just stand up and have a go at doing it. It's fine. Okay, bring that down a little bit more because we have like pointy chins. One of the main features of Tim Burton's work, so we're trying to make as Tim Burton-esque as we can. Okay, smooth it down, flatten it a little bit more if you need to. Okay, it's just about manipulating the clay in your hands, trying to get it the right shape, right size. Now, I'm quite happy with that shape. I'm going to just pinch out where I think the ears are going to go. So just pinch them there. Okay, and round them off a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to think about where my eyes are going to go about here. So I'm just going to press that in a little to indicate where their eyes are going to go. Okay, and then I'm going to build those eyes out of my little bit of spare clay over here. So I'm just going to roll a ball like so. Manipulate it in my fingers. Okay, they're not exactly round eyes, so they're squashed at the top. So I'm just going to squash that at the top. I'm going to round that towards the bottom there. Okay, it's quite thick that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wire and just going to cut that in half. Okay, it's still quite big, so I'm going to just cut it again. You can see that's a better shape now. Okay, and just mould it in your fingers. Try and get the right shape. Flatten at the bottom a little bit more. And just measure it up against your head. Is that too big? Is it too small? Does it look right? It looks about right to me. So if I'm applying clay to clay, what I need to do is make sure I use the right technique. So the technique to add clay to clay is to score it. Okay, so use a little piece of wire for this. Score it like that. Okay, you can go both ways, kind of a cross hatch if you like. Score it where you're going to stick it. Then you dip your thumb in the pot of water. You press your thumb into your spare bit of clay, and you're going to create some slip. It's called slip because it's slippery when you make it, and it acts as a glue to glue the 2 pieces of clay together. So just make that slip, apply that on there, apply it on where you're going to stick it to, and then you place it on. Okay, so that technique again is called score, slip and stick. And that is a technique that you're going to need and you're going to learn today. So again, you've got other eye there, measure it out, so it'll look about right. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller on that side, round it off. All the time you're just looking, measuring with your eye, looking at the right scale and measuring up against your head. Okay, and again, you're going to score it. Score this part, you're going to slip it, and you're going to stick it and secure it down. Okay. Score, slip and stick. Then you can use your wire if you want to add a little bit of detail, so you can see the pupil of my eye there, just pop that in. Okay, and then I'm going to make the nose. I'm going to use this little bit of clay to create that nose. Okay, roll it in a sausage shape. Using the table, use a mat to just manipulate that into a little sausage. And then just measure out where you think it's going to go. Probably about there. Okay, probably need to thin that out a little bit, but we need to stick it on first, so we're going to, again, score it. Score it on here. Slip it. Stick it. And then we can just manipulate that just a little bit more. You can either use your lolly stick or the end of your pencil or your little bit of wire that you've got on the table there. So have a little think, see what works best for you. That should stick on quite well. I'm just going to cut that bit of nose off there. Just manipulate it a little bit more. Okay. And what you're aiming for is like a nice smooth surface as well that you're going to be able to paint. There we go. I'm going to build them cheekbones up a little bit. And Tim Burton has quite large cheekbones, so let's just manipulate this piece of clay. We're going to score that again. Got a little bit of slip on there. I'm going to stick these bits of clay on. Stick it on here, up a little bit. Okay. Blend it in with your finger. Do the same again on the other side. In fact, that's a perfect size there. Score that. Slip it, stick it. Yeah. A little bit more. Always kind of smooth it down with your fingers as well. And again, if you're making your lips, you can either score those in with your bit of wire, or you can build them up. It's up to you. So you might score this in and go, do you know what? It might look better if it's built up, or you might decide, do you know what, that looks okay. So just have a little play with it and decide. Now you might want some hair on there, so you can either score that in. So for me, I'm going to just see what it looks like scored in. If that doesn't look right, or I'm not happy with it, I can always build it up. It's not too bad. I'm going to give myself some eyebrows. And to see how much detail you want to put into this, you might want to put your eyelashes in there as well. Or you could build those up using a little bit of wire, it's up to you. And then we're just going to do this chunk of hair down here. So maybe adding that on round the back, so we have to score and slip and stick that on. Use that little bit of clay there. If it gets a little bit dry, you might want to just add a little bit more water to it. Okay, have a little look at the back, score it on the back. Score this. A little slip again. Slip on there and stick it on. Okay, you just have a little play with it and see what works best for you. Bring that back in a little bit more so it sits nice and flat. And you can draw into the hair a little bit more if you want to. If you wanted to braid it, you can braid it if you like. So it's completely up to you how you do it. Okay, I'm going to turn this off now and have a little play up with this myself and see where we get up to. Okay, once you've finished, you take your lolly stick and you pop it into where your chin is. Make sure you've got your name written on here, so you've got that ready to paint for next lesson. Okay, so there you go, that's what you're kind of aiming for.